Hey, Gary Grossman with Ed Fuller, collaborators on our Red Hotel book series. The newest one is Red Ultimatum, available in hardcover, paperback, ebooks, and Audible. You can listen to it while you're traveling, home in bed, whatever. But today, Ed, you had an idea. Let's do one of our open research discussions, but we can do it here for people and see how we do this. I've heard the story that when you're negotiating with the Russians, it's after you complete a deal for them, that's when they start negotiating or renegotiating. You've negotiated in dozens, what, over 70 countries for Marriott International. Uh, Russians got to be what? One of the hardest of all time?
The hardest. And in fact, um, every culture has certain parameters, and the culture falls into any negotiation. I enjoy working with the Japanese because they are very logical in their negotiating not terms, but process. And I find Russia the hardest.
Well, that's what we're talking about this week. Okay, negotiating with Russia. Um, did it turn your hair white? Did it frustrate you to no end? How do you deal with it? What's the history of that kind of negotiation?
Well, the culture of Russia is very clear. Win, lose. You lose, they win. And so it takes numerous visits to build a relationship that can at least get a small bridge across the water between the two groups. I'll give you one example if you've got some questions after that. A company named Mospomstroy wanted to build a JW Marriott right next door to the Bolshoi Ballet. Wonderful location, excellent facility, but they wanted to be a JW Marriott.
And I have to say, this comes because you were former president of Marriott International for how many years?
20,
20 years.
22.
Get that right.
And finally, the developers called me in and said, "You've got to sit down with this man." So we're at either end of a long table, and his desk is at that end. So even the layout of the room is part of that stabilizing that he is in charge and you are not. So during the discussions, he demanded, he slammed the desk. He was a huge Russian. At one point, he reached into his desk and pulled out a picture from when he and I, along with Luchkov, the mayor, and several others, had opened the first Marriott Hotel in Russia. And this was when Marty McFly and Back to the Future was popular. And he looked at the picture and he says, "Ed, you're fading out of the picture," and sat it down and put it in his folder. That started the discussions at a different level. 2 or 3 visits later, again, taking him out to lunch, buy him as much vodka as I could. Still, we were standing away from each other. And he says, "Ed, I demand it. In fact, you're almost gone," and put the picture back in. Ultimately, I said, "What?" And I had checked this out before I did it. "What if we called it another name, but not JW?" He thought. He said, "Like what?" I said Aurora, which is beautiful in Russian. And he thought about it.
Has also a root in the word gold, doesn't it?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And he looked at the picture. He said, "You're coming back into the picture." Now, that was 2 trips to Russia, which are not the most pleasant trips. Um, and it is an example, but in North Vietnam, Hanoi, we were working with a very wealthy North Vietnamese developer, highly educated individual, very sophisticated. They called me in because, again, they couldn't get this guy to cross a bridge.
Let me guess where he was trained.
Guess.
Ah, Russia.
Moscow University.